Welcome to NTD Newsroom. I'm Don Ma. President Trump slams Europe over Iran, saying allies refuse to help U.S. operations. Now he's urging them to secure their own energy. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says the next few days the Iran war will be decisive, adding that strikes have damaged the morale of the Iranian military. Airport lines are easing as TSA agents receive their first paycheck as the longest ever DHS shutdown continues. Meanwhile, some GOP lawmakers are now suggesting a strategy to bypass Democrats altogether to reopen the department. The Justice Department is set to argue before the Supreme Court this week for President Trump's executive order to restrict birthright citizenship. NASA is set to launch a crewed mission around the moon as early as tomorrow. What the space agency is saying about its first lunar mission in more than 50 years.
This is NTD Newsroom, live from our global headquarters in New York City.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. President Trump criticizing European countries for failing to assist the U.S. when it needed help with the Iran operation. The president offering solutions today for countries that can't fill their energy needs because of the Strait of Hormuz, mentioning the United Kingdom. Trump writing on Truth Social that England refused to get involved, what he called the decapitation of Iran. The president writing, quote, "I have a suggestion for you. Number one, buy from the U.S. We have plenty. And number two, build up some delayed courage. Go to the Strait and just take it. You'll have to start learning how to fight for yourself. The USA won't be there to help you anymore, just like you weren't there for us." The president wrote that Iran has been, quote, essentially decimated, adding, "The hard part is done. Go get your own oil." Meanwhile, President Trump calling France very unhelpful, saying the U.S. will remember. The president criticizing France for not letting planes heading to Israel with military supplies fly over French territory. Gas prices are climbing sharply, with the national average hitting $4 a gallon today for the first time in years. AAA says that's the highest level since August 2022, when Russia launched its war against Ukraine. Prices jumped more than $1 in just the past month. The conflict in the Middle East disrupting global energy supplies, especially through the Strait of Hormuz. Tensions escalating further after Iran attacked and set on fire an oil tanker near Dubai earlier today. Crude oil prices briefly spiked again after the attack. Authorities later saying they brought the oil fire under control with no oil leak and no injuries to the crew. The Pentagon sharing new information today on the war in Iran. War Secretary Pete Hegseth says he visited troops involved in the Iran operation on Saturday. Hegseth saying that the upcoming days will be decisive in the war.
President Trump is doing what no other president had the guts to do. Previous presidents were all talk. He's all action. On the battlefield, because of the latitude the president has given us, American firepower is only increasing. Iran's decreasing. We have more and more options, and they have less. Just 1 month in, only 1 month, we set the terms. The upcoming days will be decisive. Iran knows that, and there's almost nothing they can militarily do about it. I asked each young American, what do you need? And nobody said better equipment. Nobody said more comfortable living conditions. Nobody said send me home. Well, of course, eventually we want all those things. They do too. But what those Americans said to me, young and old, officer and NCO, male and female, black and white, was let's finish the mission. Get us even more bombs, bigger bombs, more targets. Let us finish this.
Hegseth saying the strikes were damaging the morale of the Iranian military and discussing Russia and China's role in the war. The War Secretary also providing an update on the Air Force captains shot down by friendly fire from Kuwait weeks ago.
The 3 Air Force captains shot down by Kuwaiti friendly fire early in the fight weeks ago. They never left the theater. All dropped bombs over Tehran last night. These men and women live the Iranian threat every day, incoming missiles and drones, and know what a world looks like, what the world would look like if Iran had the most dangerous weapons in the world, a nuclear weapon. As President Trump has said time and time again for years, and in this administration, Iran cannot have a nuclear bomb, and they won't. The last 24 hours saw the lowest number of enemy missiles and drones fired by Iran. They will go underground, but we will find them. We recently destroyed another one of their command bunkers. Leaders forced to flee, no water, no power, no oxygen, no command and control. Their faith in their caves diminishing. The latest intel is clear out of CENTCOM. Our strikes are damaging the morale of the Iranian military, leading to widespread desertions, key personnel shortages, and causing frustrations amongst senior leaders. As far as Russia and China, we know exactly what they're doing, what they are or are not doing. We don't have to air publicly what all of that is, but where necessary, we're addressing it, we're mitigating it, or we're confronting it head on.
Joint Chiefs Chairman General Dan Kane saying joint forces systematically continue to degrade and destroy Iran's ability to project power and threaten stability. Here he is discussing the deployment of B-52 bombers over Iran.
Given the increase in air superiority, we've successfully started to conduct the first overland B-52 missions, which allow us, as we've said before, to continue to get on top of the enemy. First, the Joint Force continues to destroy Iran's ballistic missile and UAS capabilities. We remain focused on interdicting and destroying the logistical and supply chains that feed these programs. Together, we continue to deliver precision strikes against key manufacturing nodes, component storage sites, research facilities deep within Iranian territory. And over the past 30 days, we've struck more than 11,000 targets.
Meanwhile, other topics in the briefing included talks with Iran. Hegseth saying the talks are very real, ongoing, and gaining strength. He said more ships are passing through the Strait of Hormuz and that President Trump was clear today that other countries should be prepared to step in and secure the waterway. Hegseth also addressing a video the president posted last night of explosions in Isfahan. The war secretary saying it was an ammo depot struck by U.S. bombers. And on Capitol Hill, lawmakers have left Washington for a 2-week recess amid mounting pressure to reopen the DHS. With the TSA funded for now, Republicans are eyeing a way to bypass Democrats entirely to fund the DHS until the end of President Trump's term. NTD's Melina Weisskopf has the report.
After a show of discord between House and Senate lawmakers last weekend, a Republican appropriator says that Republicans may move to try to bypass Democrats altogether. Instead of just trying to fund ICE through a special budget process, Republicans now may try to fund the entire DHS without Democrat support for the next 3 years until the end of President Trump's term. Republicans can do this through something known as the budget reconciliation process. This would allow them to pass a budget bill with only a simple majority vote. This is how they passed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act last summer. Hovind, a senior appropriator, said that they want to take leverage off the table when it comes to the DHS funding. Here's Hovind.
The key there is that we not only fund DHS for this next year, but for 3 years, so the Democrats can't have yet another Schumer shutdown and do this.
But it is highly unusual for lawmakers to use this special budget process to provide funding for a normal appropriations bill. Senate Majority Leader John Thune noted just how complicated this process can be. It can even take months to complete, but Republicans may not have another path forward. We're now at the 45th day of the longest DHS shutdown in history. As senators have left town for the next 2 weeks, they'll continue to work through bipartisan talks, and if they aren't able to reach that agreement, this party line option is on the table. Reporting from Washington, D.C., Melina Weisskopf, NTD News.
Security lines dwindled at airports yesterday, the worst bottlenecks clearing up as TSA officers began receiving back pay for working during the government shutdown. A 4-hour checkpoint line at Houston's George Bush Airport turning into a wait of 10 minutes or less. Travelers moved smoothly to their flights in previous trouble spots, such as Atlanta and Baltimore Airport. And according to a DHS official, TSA officer callouts have dropped by about 30%. President Trump on Friday ordered the Department of Homeland Security to pay TSA officers immediately to ease the lines plaguing airports. Democrats have refused to approve more funding without changes to the president's immigration enforcement and deportation operations. Meanwhile, as operations return to normal, ICE officers in airport terminals are still providing needed assistance. The Department of Homeland Security is experiencing the longest partial government shutdown in U.S. history. Joining us now is Cooper Smith, Director of Homeland Security and Immigration at the America First Policy Institute. Cooper, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. So, the DHS, you're well aware of this, is composed of critical agencies, right? Focused on security, like FEMA, TSA, ICE, CBP, the Secret Service. Can I just ask you, by your assessment, in your view, what is the risk to U.S. national security with this department shutdown?
Well, I think there are tremendous risks. And of course, we all know that we're in a conflict currently with Iran that started a little over a month ago. And since then, we've had numerous terrorist attacks that have occurred here in the homeland, from Virginia to New York City to Michigan, the synagogue attack that are often Islamist inspired attacks. So the threat has grown. The threat environment is very unstable right now for the American people. So I can't imagine at any time that we'd want our Department of Homeland Security shut down. As you noted very rightly, it's not just TSA, it's not just ICE, it's also Secret Service, it's many elements of the Coast Guard, and it's the largest law enforcement agency in the country. So at any time, it would be unwise to shut down the department, but especially now with conflicts in Iran. And of course, the president has a goal of securing the border. That's what the American people voted for him on, and of course, deporting criminal illegal aliens. All of those are at risk with this ongoing partisan shutdown.
So you bring up the Iran war, right? Do you think this shutdown potentially could give adversaries like Iran or maybe China a point to exploit, something exploitable to our adversaries?
I think that's absolutely a risk, and that's something that we should look at. Look, we do have a large law enforcement apparatus in the United States, of course, the Department of Justice, Joint Terrorism Task Forces, and the like. So that apparatus is still, in play right now. But the risk, of course, is the DHS assets that are a little bit unique. And like I said at the beginning, it's absolutely unconscionable that radicals in Congress would keep DHS shut down, or really what they're trying to do is end immigration enforcement. If you look at the Democrats' sort of demand letter that came out a few months ago, the sort of 10 demands for ICE, they're calling ICE agents, federal sworn law enforcement agents, they're calling them racist. They're calling them a paramilitary force. This was a non-starter sort of activist radical left policy document, not a serious negotiation tool.
And, lawmakers who are advocating to open this partial government shutdown, I mean, they're not feeling the impacts. They're still getting paid. It's the American people who's feeling the brunt of it. I mean, everyone's seen the long lines at some airports. They're starting to ease now after President Trump signed an executive order to pay the TSA. But, the White House is saying this is ridiculous that the president had to go through these lengths, because Press Secretary Leavitt saying it's the job of Congress to fund these agencies, right? And according to her, Democrats in Congress have voted 7 times against funding the Department of Homeland Security.
That's exactly right. And President Trump is showing exactly why he was elected overwhelmingly. He's on the side of not just the American people, but also frontline agents at TSA and Border Patrol and ICE. He was elected saying, I will have your back. He's pro-law enforcement. And that's why the American people support him. So it's ridiculous that he has to go to these lengths to get TSA agents funded. And I just want to say one other thing. This reminds me that there are multiple airports in the United States that actually have privatized security screeners. So San Francisco Airport, Kansas City, Sarasota, Bradenton, and Florida. And none of those airports were impacted. So I think Congress should not only fund the Department of Homeland Security, but should also look into privatizing more elements of TSA, so that way radicals in Congress can never hold the American people hostage to their sort of ridiculous anti-ICE demands.
So as you rightly pointed out, ICE is one of the bigger issues that's holding up funding for DHS. What are your thoughts on Democrat demands for reforms to ICE? Where should Republicans stand firm? And is there anywhere for Republicans to give concessions?
Well, I think the White House and Senate Republicans have already offered some meaningful sort of concessions, if you want to call them that. But I think they're reasonable, right? They already agreed to body cams, which are being deployed in Minnesota and I presume other states. But of course, Congress has to fund that effort. When it comes to things like judicial warrants and unmasking of the ICE agents, I think that's just showing that the radical left really is not interested in compromise. They're interested in politics. They're interested in the midterms and sort of activating their radical base of voters and donors and getting a quote unquote win out of this while the American people suffer. So like I said a moment ago, I think the list of 10 demands is not a serious document. Again, taking the masks off of agents, for example, when they're facing an 8,000% increase in death threats against them and their families is just a non-starter. So I think, the reasonable people on both sides of the aisle, if there are some on the left, need to come together and realize, again, we're in a heightened threat environment. There's a conflict going on overseas. It's not just the American people who are affected, but also frontline agents and employees of the federal government. And just one other point, I think this does such a disservice to the federal government writ large, right? Why would good, honest, hardworking, qualified, experienced people want to go work for the federal government when Congress can't get their act together to fund their paychecks? We want good, qualified people in the federal government. And my concern is that this is going to discourage them from joining service.
All great points there, Cooper. And I wanted to get your thoughts on this Senate bill that was passed last week to fund DHS. And I think you know where I'm getting at with this. The House rejected it. House Speaker Mike Johnson dismissed the bill as a joke, came up with a different one. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I think Speaker Johnson, I think, showed some real leadership and some real courage. I think it's my opinion here at the American First Policy Institute that, look, we don't want to carve out different aspects of DHS for Congress to negotiate on sort of piecemeal. We want the entire department funded, because I think our concern is if you pull out, say, ICE funding, then the concern is that they'll never be funded. It could be, till next year that ICE is funded, and they have a critical mission in keeping Americans safe. Of course, Border Czar Tom Homan was just talking a few weeks ago, or I think a week ago at CPAC. They've arrested over 800,000 criminal illegal aliens from the country. That is a monumental achievement, and I want that to continue. So, yeah, I think Speaker Johnson showed some real courage.
Okay, I don't want to take up too much of your time, Cooper. Let me just get one more comment from you. So tomorrow, Mark-Wayne Mullen is going to be officially the head of the DHS. What do you think it's going to look like, the DHS, under his leadership?
Look, Senator Mullen, I think he's now actually secretary. He's been in the office, I believe, for a week now, but he's a very serious person. He's a patriot. He's long been a supporter of policies that we support here at AFPI, from strong border security to strong immigration enforcement, building the wall. So I think from a policy perspective, his record in the Senate and in the House before is extremely strong. We're very excited. He's definitely an America First candidate that's going to do great things at DHS. And I am totally sympathetic to his view that really the department should not be in the headlines every day. I think the American people want to be kept safe. They want to know that sworn federal law enforcement agents have their back and are protecting them from terrorism, from criminal illegal aliens, and are protecting our borders and our sovereignty. And I think he's just the right guy to get that job done.
Yeah, I mean, time will tell, but I think it's a good move to, try to keep DHS out of headlines every single day. We'll see how he does. But thank you very much for your comments today, Cooper.
Thank you.
The Supreme Court overturns Colorado's ban on LGBT conversion talk therapy. How a licensed Christian counselor won her case on free speech grounds. More news after this break. Don't go away.
Imagine a coffee that cares for your health. Expertly fermented with a 50 enzyme complex to enhance flavor and remove bitterness. Small batch roasted to a decadent medium dark, resulting in a brew that is gentle on digestion, low acid, and up to 90% less caffeine than regular coffee. Try America's first enzyme fermented coffee today.
Have you heard what's happening at Mathis Home? Our spring style event is going on now with hundreds of options for your new dining room. This 52-inch table is a great deal. It's just $4.99 in your choice of finishes. Mix and match chairs to complete the look that's just right for you. You can also get it with a marble top or in a larger size for extra seating. We have your style in stock now with fast, free delivery. Get your new dining room and save at your furniture superstore, Mathis Home.
It's finally here, our second annual mega sale. This sale only comes around once a year, so take advantage of the best offers ever while you can. For example, save 50% on our Giza Dream bed sheets, as low as $29.98. And for the first time ever on TV, My Pillow mattresses and My Pillow mattress toppers, as low as $99.98. And you save 50% on our Lux Pure 6-piece towel sets, regular $69.98. Now only $39.98. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, regular $49.98, on sale for $17.98. Wait on it, mega sale only $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our second annual mega sale. But wait, there's more. To make the mega sale even more special, when you order right now, your order's gonna ship absolutely free.
Is deep sea fish oil really healthy? Due to pollution in the oceans, most fish contain heavy metal elements and radioactive substances. That's why it's so important to choose a pure source of omega-3. Puritan Green Vegetable Omega-3 is made from purslane and perilla seeds, which are rich in nutrients and minerals. It effectively improves brain power and is beneficial to the heart's health. Puritan Green Vegetable Omega-3. Eat 2 a day and you'll feel brand new.
More details are emerging following Tiger Woods' rollover car crash at Florida. In the Martin County Sheriff's Office said deputies found prescription pain pills in the pro golfer's pocket when interviewing him at the scene. An incident report says that Woods was slow and lethargic and had bloodshot eyes and dilated pupils. Deputies added that Woods admitted he had taken prescription medication earlier in the morning. The golfer was driving on a residential road on Jupiter Island when his Land Rover hit the truck in front of him and rolled onto its side. During a field sobriety test, Woods explained he had undergone 7 back surgeries and over 20 leg operations. Deputies said that Woods agreed to a breathalyzer test that showed no signs of alcohol but refused a urine test. Woods had been charged with driving under the influence, property damage, and refusal to submit a lawful test. The Supreme Court is overturning a ban on counseling that discusses changing a minor's sexual identity in Colorado. A Christian licensed counselor challenged the law on free speech grounds. Here's more.
The 2019 Colorado law bans therapists from discussions to change a minor's sexual orientation or gender identity. Kaylee Childs, a Christian counselor, argued that the law violated the First Amendment. Supreme Court justices siding with her today in an 8-1 decision. The Trump administration also backing her in the case. Childs has said she, quote, believes that people flourish when they live consistently with God's design, including their biological sex. Meanwhile, Colorado argued that they have the power to regulate safety in healthcare and professional conduct. Colorado was among more than 24 states that restrict or prohibit counseling about changing sexual identity for patients younger than 18.
Coming up in the Supreme Court, the justices will hear oral arguments on Wednesday in one of the highest profile cases of this term. It involves a challenge to President Trump's January 2025 executive order seeking to restrict birthright citizenship. Lower courts have paused the order, but the president immediately appealed it. NTD's Arlene Richards has more on the key arguments in the case.
Ending birthright citizenship, which now comes to the fore.
The Trump administration is poised to argue on Wednesday that the Constitution has been fundamentally misunderstood for decades. The Supreme Court will hear the administration's arguments on whether the president's January 2025 executive order seeking to end birthright citizenship complies with the Citizenship Clause of the 14th Amendment. Since the late 1800s, the understanding of the clause has been that virtually everyone born in the United States is entitled to U.S. citizenship, regardless of their parents' citizenship status.
That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation.
The president echoing his thoughts in a Truth Social post on Monday and saying we are the only country in the world that dignifies this subject with even discussion. In court filings, the Justice Department explained that the clause was adopted to confer citizenship on the newly freed slaves and their children, not on the children of immigrants temporarily visiting the United States or of illegal immigrants. The plaintiffs are a class of non-citizens living in the U.S. who fear their unborn children won't become U.S. citizens. They argue that the Citizenship Clause reaffirms a centuries-old common law tradition of citizenship by virtue of birth, and that the executive order attempts a radical rewriting of the 14th Amendment. The long-standing interpretation of the clause is complicating President Trump's immigration policy.
Hundreds of thousands of people are pouring into our country under birthright citizenship, and it wasn't meant for that reason.
Much of the debate about the clause focuses on a particular phrase. To qualify for birthright citizenship, a child must not only be born in the United States, but also subject to the jurisdiction thereof. This week, the Supreme Court will likely try to find out what that phrase was intended to mean. Arlene Richards, NTD News.
We'll be live streaming the full court hearing tomorrow, starting 10 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on NTD. Don't miss it. The Trump administration launching a hiring push for young people. The Office of Personnel Management says the initiative aims to connect emerging professionals with full-time career opportunities across the federal government. The effort has been dubbed the Early Career Talent Network. The administration says the new network will help build an employee pipeline for important roles in the federal government. Those roles include positions in finance, human resources, engineering, project management, and procurement. According to the Office of Personnel Management, the initiative will support the administration's efforts to modernize federal hiring. Health officials are informing hospitals they must provide patients with more nutritious food to receive federal funding. That includes making sure that menus and diets meet the nutritional needs of patients.
We have the best medical technology in the world. We have the best doctors. We have the finest hospitals in the world. But for some reason, for many years, they haven't recognized the most important tool of medicine today is good food. And we have a metabolic disease crisis now in this country that's costing us trillions of dollars a year. There's study after study after study that shows when you give people good food, they recover faster. There's less readmissions.
RFK Jr. says existing hospital food is aggravating inflammation, destroying their metabolic systems, and badly disrupting their microbiomes. He says the food is impeding their capacity to heal. And the government releasing new dietary guidelines in January. Those emphasize limiting ultra-processed foods, refined carbohydrates, and sugar-laden products in favor of whole foods, such as whole milk and meat. A letter sent to hospitals yesterday gave examples for a good diet for a patient. It mentioned oats with berries and nuts for breakfast, grilled salmon with quinoa and roasted vegetables for lunch, and a lentil-based entree with a side salad could be served later in the day. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has signed a bill to rename a major airport after President Trump. Palm Beach International Airport, just miles from the president's Mar-a-Lago residence, could be soon called the President Donald J. Trump International Airport. The change still requires approval from the Federal Aviation Administration before taking effect on July 1st. It would also require updates across flight systems and navigation databases. The measure passed the Florida legislature earlier this year with support from Republican lawmakers. A separate proposal in Congress would also change the airport's identifier code from PBI to DJT. Nigeria is among the top 10 most dangerous places for Christians in the world. This is according to Open Doors 2026 ranking of the top 50 countries where Christians experience persecution. We discuss this with the guest after the break. Stay with us.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
They're just young people, hungry, homeless, and vulnerable. Covenant House is helping young adults facing homelessness. We're providing safe shelter to thousands, but the need is overwhelming. Please call or go online now. With your gift of $19 a month, we'll send you this blanket as a reminder of the comfort your gift provides a young person tonight. You'll provide safe shelter, hot meals, and medical care. Call the number on your screen or go online to safeplacetosleep.org.
I'm Amy Grant, and I want to talk to you from my heart about the heart. I would have been the last person on the list to say this woman has a problem with her heart. So no, there was nothing about my life that said, you have a ticking time bomb in your chest. But I did. I wound up in the office of a cardiologist because I was there with my husband. And at the tail end of that, the cardiologist looked at me and said, I want to see you. No one was more surprised than I was to learn I was living with a rare heart condition. He said, Amy, this condition, you'll be fine, and then catastrophic. A few months later, I had open heart surgery that saved my life. And I owe it to the research and life-saving medical breakthroughs developed by the American Heart Association. That's why I'm asking you to join me and become a monthly donor to the American Heart Association. Please call now or go to helpheart.org. For only $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, you can help fund the next medical breakthrough, get the next person trained in CPR, and get the next hospital certified in high-quality cardiovascular care. If this could happen to me, it could happen to anybody. Heart disease is America's #1 killer, but your support can save your life or the life of someone you love. Give $19 a month with your credit card and we'll send you this special t-shirt you can wear to show you're part of a community of monthly donors working to help save more lives like mine. I'm grateful for the American Heart Association. Their research gave me more time to do the things I love with the people I love. So listen to your heart. I'm here today because I did. Please call the number on your screen or go to helpheart.org now to become a monthly donor and help save even more lives. Thank you.
Nigeria is among the most dangerous places for Christians in the world. This is according to Open Doors 2026 ranking of the top 50 countries where Christians face the most extreme persecution. Joining us now to talk about this is Brad Brandon, CEO and founder of Nigeria Across Nigeria. So, Brad, thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. Good to be in studio with you and have this conversation.
Yeah, we welcome you here, of course. So talk to us about the specifics here. What is the actual situation on the ground when it comes to persecution?
Well, right now, Nigeria, northern Nigeria, is the most dangerous place to be a Christian when counting deaths. So last year there were over 8,000 Christians that were slaughtered in northern Nigeria. If you take all the Christians that were killed for their faith in the whole world last year, 72% of them were killed in northern Nigeria. So it's not even by close margins that more Christians are killed in northern Nigeria than anywhere else in the world. 3.5 million Christians are in internally displaced persons camps, meaning that their homes and their villages have been destroyed. They have nowhere else to go. 18,000 churches have been burned since 2009. We're talking about over 70,000 Christians killed since 2009.
So I would imagine the scale of this persecution is very much severe. It's widespread across Nigeria.
Yeah, absolutely. Most of it's concentrated in northern Nigeria. That's where we operate. As across Nigeria, we help persecuted Christians, and we also help the persecutors as well. We actually go in and try to raise socioeconomic conditions. A lot of times the poor socioeconomic issues draw people into radicalism. So we go into those communities and try to help them with education, medical care, things like that, to deter them away from radicalism.
Okay, so just for my own understanding of the situation here, can you just paint me a picture here? What does daily life actually look like if you're a Christian in this country? What does daily life look like?
Well, I can tell you right now during Holy Week, it's a very intense time. Just several days ago on Palm Sunday, there were 30 Christians that were slaughtered in the city of Jos. I spend a great deal of time in Jos, and there were over 100 people that were wounded. That was just because they were out going to church, celebrating Palm Sunday. Anytime a Christian leaves their home in northern Nigeria, they're putting their life at risk. A week and a half ago, we had an attack in a city called Maiduguri, which is the most dangerous city in Africa, and 4 of our personnel across Nigeria were killed in that attack. So this is something that is pervasive. It goes on all the time. This is an area of the world where if you are a Muslim or you grew up in a Muslim home and you decide that you want to leave Islam and become a Christian, that is a crime punishable by death in northern Nigeria. Under the Sharia law, the blasphemy laws, your family can legally kill you or they can hire somebody to kill you. And it happens all the time.
Okay, that was one of the questions I was wondering about this. Where is the violence coming from? I mean, from your description just now, it sounds like it's almost state-sanctioned. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I wouldn't say it's state-sanctioned, but I would say that the Nigerian government right now is overwhelmed. Overwhelmed with the instability of northern Nigeria, and what that's allowed is a vacuum to take place in northern Nigeria, and radical groups like ISWA, the Islamic State of West Africa, and Boko Haram run northern Nigeria like it's the Wild West.
So is this coordinated?
I would say a lot of it's coordinated. Many of the attacks are coordinated. There are times when ISWA or Boko Haram or other factional groups have territorial disputes, but a lot of times they coordinate the attacks as well.
So why are they doing this? I mean, do they just simply dislike Christians? Why?
They have a disdain for anything Western. So even the phrase Boko Haram is a play on Hausa words. Hausa is the language of northern Nigeria, and that's a play on Hausa. It's a play on Hausa words that basically means anything Western is forbidden.
Okay, so over the years, would you say the intensity of this persecution, has it decreased? Has it increased? Has it stayed the same?
It has increased year over year. We started working in northern Nigeria over 10 years ago. We've seen it do nothing but get worse. Particularly in the last year, it's intensified. We don't see really anything that is going to stem the tide of that intensification. So we can see it growing even into 2026. We can see the numbers are already worse than they were at this time last year.
Okay, so you're saying you've been there for 10 years. It's grown. You're continuing to do this type of work there. What gives you hope about this work that you're doing to help better the situation?
Well, we believe that the ultimate solution is the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's our belief for our organization. And more and more we're seeing much of the population and even the Islamic population in northern Nigeria come to a faith and knowledge of Jesus Christ. And that gives us hope because we believe that the gospel changes lives and it changes hearts and it changes minds. And as we introduce people to the gospel of Jesus Christ, we believe that things will improve and things will change. And that's what we're working to do.
So on that note, can you talk to us a bit more about exactly what you are doing in Nigeria to help the situation? You talked about, talking to the persecutors as well.
Yeah.
Just give us a little bit more details on that.
Yeah, so we operate in areas that are controlled by Boko Haram and ISWA. Anywhere that we operate, you can drive 12 hours in any direction and you'll still be in Boko Haram controlled areas. We have a refugee facility in northern Nigeria where we house people who what we call are in imminent danger, meaning their life is in imminent danger. They're being hunted. There's a contract out on their life. We go in and extract people out of those dangerous situations. We bring them to the safety of our refugee facility. We help them to restart their life at our refugee facility. We give them a plot of land to grow a garden. We train them in skill trade. And then after a period of time, we relocate them to a safer part of the country. And we just constantly have an influx of people that we're bringing in from those dangerous situations. The other part of our ministry that we do is we go into the communities, the Muslim communities, and we help them. We believe in showing the love of Christ. The Bible calls it fruit because fruit is the reproductive organ of a plant. So we go in and show them the love, the joy, the peace. We help them with literacy training and education. We start schools in Muslim communities to give their children opportunities where they would otherwise be drawn into radicalism. We give them opportunities, teach them to read and write English. Read and write English in northern Nigeria is like having a college education. We bring clean water systems into their villages. We bring medical care into their villages, even higher education. We have an institute where we train them in other things as well. So we're not only looking at helping the persecuted, we're looking at escalating or increasing, rising the socioeconomic conditions there, which are horrible right now. Yeah.
I mean, from your description, it certainly sounds like a dangerous situation. I mean, I hope you're keeping yourself safe while being over there. That's a concern, of course, for me as well. But I think I just have one more question here, and it's about, for everyone watching here, they may feel like they want to contribute to your cause, to the cause overall. What would you tell these people? How can they help for those watching at home?
The best thing they can do to help is, and I'm not saying this to be polite, but is we need the prayer of the faith community back here in the United States. That's the number one thing. I always tell people I see your prayers answered every day in northern Nigeria. And praying for the persecuted, praying that God would strengthen them, encourage them during this time where they are severely oppressed in northern Nigeria. So just committing yourself to praying for the persecuted, but I always add this as equally important, pray for the persecutors. We're seeing God doing amazing things in the hearts and minds of Muslims. We're even seeing people come out of those radical groups and change their entire perspective and outlook on life and improving their lives and improving the communities around them. So pray for those who are being persecuted, pray for the persecutors, and then of course people can go to our website at acrossnigeria.org. And if they go to our website, they can sign up for our email updates where we send out real-time prayer items, action items, things that people can be praying for. And then of course there's opportunities to give. But the most important thing is to have the faith community praying for us and the work that we're doing in northern Nigeria.
Yeah, I mean, such great work you're doing. I have so much respect for that. And, it's been really great talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the work you do.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, we're taking a break now. Cherry blossom season has arrived. A festival in Georgia celebrates the flowers and the beginning of spring. More news after this break. Don't go away.
With Select Specs £6 specs, you can get 10 pairs of prescription glasses for just £60. That includes frames, prescription lenses, and delivery free to your door. And what makes this really special is each pair can have a different prescription. So it's glasses for everyone. SelectSpecs.com/£6. 10 frames, all with prescription lenses and delivery for just £60. You don't get that on the high street. Right now you can save an extra 5% with offer code CG5OFF.
Tired of struggling with that heavy leaf blower? Introducing the Bullseye Power Blower. It delivers a massive blowing force, and yet it's so compact and lightweight. Just lock and load the rechargeable battery for long-lasting runtime. The secret is the compact turbocharged motor with jet burst technology that blasts out 21,000 RPMs of airflow. Watch this. The sheer force propels this woman across the pool. Look, use Bullseye to blow up a huge jump house. Now that's power. Even blows snow right off your vehicle in no time. Turbo clean your porch in a flash or tidy up your dirty garage floor in seconds. Get it today for just $99.99. But wait, act now and get a $20 discount. So it's only $79.99. Plus, you'll get the adjustable extension tube. Yours free. And it all comes with free shipping. Order now.
Call 1-800-209-2313 or go to bullseyeblower.com. That's 1-800-209-2313 or order online at bullseyeblower.com. Order now.
Discover the ancient secret to vitality and longevity with Puretang Black Ginseng. Crafted from premium 6-year-old Korean ginseng, each root is carefully nurtured for over 2,260 days, undergoing a traditional 9-round handcrafted process of steaming and drying to unlock full potency and absorption. Experience pure, natural energy with Puretang Black Ginseng. Order now at puretang.com.
I debate all day. It's what I do. But there are some things that are undebatable, like your mental health, my own mental health. I was in a dark place when my brother passed away in a car accident. I've never been more devastated than the day I lost my mom. I was depressed, miserable, in ways I never imagined. I reached out, and my sisters came. My pastor, my therapist. They helped me get through it. I found that the more I spoke up, the healthier my mind became. The chaos that was in me began to subside. I was more focused, clear. When you love your mind, you can go so much further. That's not up for debate. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org.
The commander of the U.S. Central Command saying the military is staying vigilant despite great success in Operation Epic Fury. Here he is providing the latest updates from the operation today.
Now in our 5th week of the campaign, it is my operational assessment that we are making undeniable progress in eliminating Iran's ability to project power in meaningful ways outside its borders. We don't see their Navy sailing, we don't see their aircraft flying, and their air defense and missile defense systems have largely been destroyed. During this trip,
CENTCOM Commander Admiral Brad Cooper thanking all troops involved in the operation. He recently met with them in the Middle East. The Admiral calls the Iran operation the most sophisticated and largest active air defense umbrella in the world. He touts every branch of the military for achieving unprecedented success, adding that U.S. warfighters have shown unmatched reach and lethality in systematically dismantling Iran's drone and missile and naval capabilities. Israel saying it's prepared to continue operations in Iran for weeks to come. At a press briefing this morning, a military spokesperson saying the country has the targets, the weapons, and the manpower needed. He added the next step depends on a decision by the leadership. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said yesterday the war is now beyond the halfway point. He is referring to military goals, not the timeline of the conflict. And Israel taking major steps in Lebanon. Defense Minister Israel Katz saying today that troops will stay in a seized area.
All the houses in the villages near the border in Lebanon will be demolished, in accordance with the model of Rafah and Beit Hanun in Gaza, in order to remove once and for all the threats near the border from the residents of the north.
Israel is trying to push Hezbollah terrorists out of southern Lebanon. The group has fired rockets and drones across the border. Israeli officials suggesting that its campaign in Lebanon could become a prolonged stay. Israel says it wants to take control of the entire area south of the Litani River, some 20 miles north of the border. Displaced Lebanese residents will not be allowed back until Israel decides that its northern border is safe. The defense minister said more than 600,000 residents south of the Litani River were evacuated northward. The FBI is now saying the attack on a Michigan synagogue earlier this month was inspired by the Hezbollah terror group. The Bureau giving out more information about the attackers' motives. Here's the story.
Based on the evidence gathered to date, we assess this attack to be a Hezbollah-inspired act of terrorism, purposely targeting the Jewish community and the largest Jewish temple in Michigan.
Hezbollah is a Lebanon-based terrorist group backed by Iran. Investigators say the suspect, 41-year-old Ayman Ghazali, targeted Temple Israel in West Bloomfield because of the size of its congregation. The synagogue also has a learning center for preschool-age children. Authorities say Ghazali spent days planning the attack, researching synagogues, and looking up what time lunch was served at Temple Israel. Just minutes before carrying out the attack, investigators say he sent a video outlining his intentions, where he said he would forcibly enter the building and kill as many people as he could. Investigators say Ghazali then drove a truck loaded with gasoline and fireworks into the building and started firing through the windshield of his vehicle. 2 security guards quickly engaged the suspect in a shootout, preventing further harm. More than 100 children and staff were inside at the time, but none were injured. Authorities credit the synagogue's security team.
The amazingness that we had no additional fatalities based upon what this assailant was planning to do is just a testament to the preparedness of the Temple Israel security guards.
Investigators say Ghazali ultimately took his own life during the attack. Prosecutors say his goal was clear.
His death was just a means or a tool to kill as many Jews as he could. That's why his last statements were that he was on a special operation to kill as many of them as he possibly can.
Investigators say Ghazali had no prior criminal record and was not on any watch list, and there is no evidence he had any accomplices. According to prosecutors, Ghazali's phone and the videos he watched were filled with Hezbollah propaganda. The FBI says it reviewed more than 100 pieces of digital evidence and conducted over 100 interviews with Ghazali's associates.
King Charles and Queen Camilla will travel to the United States late next month. The state visit comes as the U.S. marks 250 years of independence from British rule. President Trump called the upcoming visit a momentous occasion. Trump posted on Truth Social, writing, quote, "I look forward to spending time with the King, whom I greatly respect. It will be terrific." King Charles hosted Trump for a historic second state visit to Britain last September. The occasion will mark the first state visit by a British monarch since Charles's mother, Queen Elizabeth II, visiting in 2007. President Trump said the King and Queen will arrive on April 27th and will attend a banquet dinner at the White House the following day. President Trump unveiling the design of his presidential library. It's going to be a 47-story skyscraper in downtown Miami. The president posting a video of the planned building on Truth Social. The tower will bear the letters Trump near the top, an American flag in the middle, and a golden gate, and a presidential Boeing 747 plane on display on the ground floor. The building is said to include replicas of rooms in the White House, including the Oval Office and the Grand Ballroom that President Trump is currently constructing. The video also shows the library having a rooftop terrace and an event space with a huge golden statue of Trump. Miami-based architecture and engineering firm Ramello Jamil will be responsible for construction of the presidential library. Vice President J.D. Vance has a new book coming out about his religious faith and his conversion to Catholicism as an adult. Publisher HarperCollins said the vice president wrote the 304-page book himself, working on it intermittently since 2019. Vance's new book is titled Communion: Finding My Way Back to Faith. HarperCollins published Vance's first book, Hillbilly Elegy, in 2016. It's the best-selling memoir that helped propel Vance to the national stage. Acclaimed director Ron Howard adapted Hillbilly Elegy into a movie in 2020, starring Glenn Close and Amy Adams. Vance converted to Catholicism in 2019 at the age of 35. Spring has arrived, and that means cherry blossom season. While Washington, D.C. may be one of the best-known locations to enjoy the flowers, another part of the country calls itself the cherry blossom capital of the world. NTD's Andrew Thomas has more.
Spring has finally arrived. In Macon, Georgia, a festival celebrates the cherry blossom season. Miami resident Diane Fonseca drove a long way to appreciate the flowers.
Then I found out that Macon is the capital of the world for cherry blossoms. It supposedly has 90 times more cherry blossoms than DC, and DC was gorgeous, so that's why we're here.
For Macon resident Paul Williams, spring couldn't come soon enough.
Oh, spring is my time of the year. It's not too hot, not too cold. A little bit windy today, but it'll be, we tell folks in Macon, if you don't like the weather, wait a couple of days, it'll change.
Fellow Macon resident Sarah Futo is just as excited.
Oh, yes, man, every time the seasons change, it's fun and it's a time for renewal, but especially spring. All these flowers are blooming. Other than the allergies, this is like the best place to be. The best weather. It's the best weather in Georgia before the big heat of the summertime comes.
Macon has hosted a cherry blossom festival for 40 years. Festival director Bill Fickling recalls the family history behind the event after his grandfather discovered an unusual tree in his front yard.
He didn't initially know what they were, but he was traveling up to Washington and saw them planted around the tidal basin there. And then he began gifting cuttings to some of his friends.
Fickling says his grandfather gifted 10,000 cuttings a year to the Macon community. Today, Fickling says there are more than 350,000 trees planted in central Georgia. So what makes the flowers so attractive? Neurology research scientist Maria Misiura at Georgia State University says there's a biological reason.
Flowers actually increase serotonin and dopamine, so helping us, these are neurotransmitters involved in reward and also mood regulation. So they actually make us feel good and they are motivating.
Cherry blossoms bloom for about 2 weeks, giving visitors in Georgia a window to enjoy the flowers through the end of the month. Andrew Thomas, NTD News.
President Trump urging European nations to secure their own energy through the Strait of Hormuz. More news after this break. Stay tuned.
This is how I keep my joints happy.
Omega XL is a powerful natural supplement backed by 40 years of clinical research. Take control of your pain, like Cynthia Bailey.
My knees in particular started giving me pain issues all the way back to my modeling days, from just running through airports, photo shoots. After taking Omega XL, I really started to notice how less stiff I was, especially my knees and my hip. Has Omega XL changed my life? Yes. I barely notice my joint pain anymore. Now I'm like literally sprinting through the airports. My secret is Omega XL.
Pick up the phone and call now to get this exclusive TV offer. Buy one Omega XL and we'll send you a second bottle absolutely free. You'll also get a free bottle of Vitamin XL D3. Buy one, get two free. A total value of over $115, all for just $49.95. You save more than 55% and shipping is free. Backed by a money-back guarantee and is not available in stores. Operators are standing by, so call now.
For the first time ever, we're bringing you MyPillow mattresses and mattress toppers for as low as $99.98. Remember, sleep's all about temperature and pressure points. Whatever sleep needs you have, we have the right technology for you. Like our MyPillow mattress topper, our queen size has over 10,000 individual comfort supports to help relieve your pressure points. And how about our 3-inch Hybrid Plus mattress topper? It's infused with copper and silver to help your body get the restorative sleep it needs. And our MyPillow and Case Coil mattresses, I personally helped develop these mattresses to make sure they have everything needed to give us great sleep. Plus, they're made right here in the USA, and they ship right to your front door absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to get MyPillow mattresses and toppers for as low as $99.98 and free shipping.
There are real consequences to controlled media. And NTD's founders know them firsthand. Our freedom of thought is the price. This is the lesson that guides us in everything we do.
So there's the tear gas there.
We know the value of a free society. And we take seriously the responsibility to preserve it. We are NTD.